David MacKay, an unstoppable force on the track, a proven champion and brand ambassador. With 160 podiums, 69 career wins, and 9 regional championships, he proved his dominance by capturing the 2023 CSBK Pro Sportbike title. Partnering with Honda Canada, David took the Honda Fireblade to new heights in 24. His Pro Superbike debut was nothing short of impressive, earning respect, winning fans, and making his mark on the national stage. With over 16 years of experience, David's record speaks for itself. 160 podiums, 69 wins, and 9 championships. A career built on speed, skill, and relentless drive. Racing under entry plate number 82, David MacKay is 27 years old and hails from St. Catharines, Ontario. Competing with Snow City Cycle and Team Honda Canada, he's determined to push the limits. This is David MacKay in his own words.
Right before the lights go out, I think it's just about limiting that outside noise, not thinking so much about the expectation, thinking more about the wind conditions, what I can execute properly on my end. It's really important to focus on what I can control, right? I can't think about the noise outside of what I can control, but if I focus on the race and the racecraft, I think I can have a good race. Pre-race nerves are pretty common. I've talked to a lot of guys in the paddock who actually throw up before each race. It doesn't affect me quite that much, but I think I'm pretty good at handling mine. There's a lot of downtime and waiting when it comes to this sport. The race is pretty quick and the days can be pretty long, so I'd say that there's a lot of build-up before the race, and that kind of all culminates in the 5-minute warning right before a race. And that's probably where the most anxiety comes in and the most nerves. But as soon as you get on the track and those lights go out, those nerves start to dissipate and you kind of remind yourself, yeah, this is what I do, right? This is what I've trained my whole life to do, and you just go. Listening to music has not really been something that I've ever put into place. I like to narrow my focus, kind of isolate a little bit and just be on my own. As soon as that 5-minute warning goes off, I'll grab my earplugs, I'll put those in, that'll kind of limit all the noise, and then the 2-minute warning comes up, I throw the helmet on, and then I'm locked in. I think the pre-race routine of just being there all day, making sure that we're doing the same thing, it's very consistent. Each round is very similar with the pre-race conditions, making sure that the bike is set up, making sure that I'm dressed and ready to go. I like to do some stretching and whatnot. I get my mind right. I jump on the bike sometimes and I close my eyes and I like to envision myself in the race. That helps if I can picture the race and the corners and what I'm doing out there. That kind of gets my mind in the right spot. Other than that, it's just about getting ready, getting my body ready, getting flexible, getting stretched out, making sure I'm ready to go. But other than that, I don't really like to listen to music. I don't really like to get amped up. I think I like to just kind of focus, stay quiet. People like to say I get a little stoic. I like to look off and just, visualize myself on the track. Honda has been a huge success for us. I think in the last year we started with them. They hadn't been in the series for almost a decade, I think it was. So to bring them back into the national circuit and to be the rider for them was really cool. I couldn't tell you how many people came by our pits and said the Honda looks great. It's unbelievable to have Honda back on the grid. People like to bleed Honda, and I think that was a really cool experience to be the Honda guy for that. So 1 year ago I signed with Honda and that kind of brought them back into the national fold. And then this year Ben signed on and he's the current national champion. So they're really stepping up their game. I think what makes Honda connect with me and with the race series is just the idea that we're great ambassadors. I think we have a really good connection with people who love racing within the Honda organization. We've been around the series a long time and I think that's a great symbiotic relationship, honestly. Absolutely. Whenever we can come and support Honda, support those who support our sport, it's something that we really like to do. So if I can be here signing posters, giving back to the Honda crowd, I love to do that. I've always been an extremely competitive person. No matter what sport I was playing growing up, I always wanted to be the best. I always wanted to give it my all. I played a ton of sports growing up. If you can name it, I probably played it. I played football, I played hockey, I played rugby, I played baseball, all through different parts of my life. I was better than some than others. Hockey was always one of my main passions. I guess that's my true Canadian. Once I kind of aged out of the juniors and whatnot, then I switched my focus full-time to racing. But I started racing when I was young too. I was only about 11 when I hopped on my first street bike. And then I just got this competitive edge, right? Racing is a bit of an addiction that as soon as I started riding and started competing at a high level, I just couldn't get enough. It's really something that I love to do, and it's something that I find I need to push myself to continue to get better every time I'm on the track. There is a certain intensity to riding and competing at the highest level that I don't think you can get anywhere else on the planet. Going, knee down, elbow down at 300 kilometers an hour, there's nothing else like it, and I think I live for that kind of edge of your seat competitiveness, that thrill. I'm a thrill seeker by nature, and going that fast, a lot of people like to think I'm crazy, and I think you guys are crazy if you've never done it. There's something about being inside the helmet when you're going those speeds, right on the edge of your seat, that I think nothing else compares to. When I'm looking out of that helmet and everything beside me is just a blur, you can't experience that anywhere else in life. That narrowed focus, everything else just vanishes from your head and you're focused on one thing, and there's nothing cooler than that. It's absolutely vital that you can handle a tough defeat in a sport like ours. You're on such a knife's edge the whole time. If you make a mistake when you're riding a motorcycle at 300 kilometers an hour, unfortunately that's probably the end of your race. Some of those losses can be devastating. Some of them can stick with you for a really long time. At 1 minute you're leading a national pro race, and the next you're lying on the ground wondering what the heck happened. And I think that's really something to put into perspective. I don't think until maybe you reach that success again, do you actually look back with perspective and say, yeah, I may have crashed out, but it gave me the ability to keep pushing forward and keep doing something until I achieve something great. And I think that's a really important way to look at racing. Yeah, you can use it as a motivating factor. You crash out, you want to get back to the front of that grid. You want to win that race. You want to get on the podium, right? And if you crash out of a race and you know you had it in you to win that race, there's nothing that fuels you more than going back out the next day and trying to get back on top.
Catch the action at regional and national race events. Be there for the 2025 season. This is Profiles of a Motorcycle Racer. Stay tuned for more.